Actually, it's afternoon now. It's 12 something. Good afternoon. How are you guys doing? Happy Saturday. Saturday is the day that is governed by Saturn. And Saturn is currently at the 24th degree of Aquarius. And Saturn has been in Aquarius for just about or over a year now. So we are absolutely in a really profound, shifting, changing experience. Okay, so there's so much going on in the world right now. I'm so curious, how are you guys doing? There is a tremendous amount of change and transformation happening. And for me, if it were not for the astrology, I think I would be crazy, honestly, I do, because there was a time in my life when I really relied upon the system that we're in, right? I really followed politics. Like I studied political science and history at Howard University. Like that was my thing. I was totally invested in this system. And as the system is crumbling, the work that I have had to do to unlatch myself, to free myself from the mindset is rigorous. Like, this is profound. And so I'm really curious how everybody's doing because it is really intense out here. So just let me know. I'm so curious. Before I get started talking about the astrology, I want to invite you all to register for the Mercury Retrograde class. Mercury is retrograding. It's already stationed in its retrograde position. So for many of us, we are already feeling the Mercury retrograde energy. It's retrograding in Gemini. As you guys have heard me say over and over and over again, we live in a mental universe. Everything in our world really comes through our thought and our emotion, our feeling. And that energy, that way of thinking and way of feeling is programmed within us as children. We become who we are pretty much by 7 years old. And until we are willing to take responsibility to deliberately shift that, we will just repeat our family patterns. It's just how it is. You cannot make it different, right? And the opportunity that's available now is that there was a time when it was okay to repeat your family patterns because the world as it existed was what we were doing. But now the world is changing and you cannot repeat your family patterns anymore because the world that held the patterns is dissolving. So you must renew your mind. You don't have a choice. I mean, you do have a choice, but really you can't go back into the old way. It's that biblical like there's some things that I really love the Bible for because it was able to illustrate stories that are totally applicable. And I'm not talking about the savior shit. That's not what I'm talking about because you are your own savior. Nobody's coming to save you. Nobody can save you. You will only save yourself. But we can all save ourselves together. Isn't that fun? We can all save ourselves together. And that's why I love the classes that I create because they allow us. What I do in my classes is I create the conditions for you to discover where you are with yourself. And I share my own process with you so that you will be activated through the energy that's activating through me. So we all get to grow together. We all get to grow together. So gosh, the thing that I'm so thoughtful of right now is Mercury retrograde. So Mercury is the planet that governs our minds, our mental reality, how we think, how we perceive information, how we perceive the reality that we're in. Mercury is the lower octave of Uranus. And Uranus is wreaking havoc through the house of Taurus right now. I talked about that yesterday. Go look at the video. The Taurus, the energy of what you put in and what comes in and what goes out, right? The Taurus, the earth realm, the feelings, the sensory body is how we really create our reality. And Uranus is moving through there now. And Uranus rules Aquarius. And Aquarius is the odd one, the weirdo, the mind of God. We use words like the odd one and the weird one because what we're saying is we've not seen it yet. We have not seen its form. We don't know this energy yet, right? So the thing that I love most about the age of Aquarius is like, for those of us who are adults, we remember when there were no cell phones, when there was no texting, I remember when there were no, when you had to go into the bank to get your money. I remember when you could not go get your money out of the bank with a debit card. I remember that, right? But then the age of Aquarius comes in, Aquarius energy, and new things start to come. And in order for new things to come, you got to move the old shit out the way. So, there was a time when we didn't have cell phones. There was a time when we didn't have the internet. There was a time when all of that stuff has to come from somewhere, okay? It comes from somewhere. And so what you have to do is make yourself available for the new things that are coming through. Because some of it can be coming through you. It can be coming through you, right? And are you open and receptive? So Saturn in Aquarius is saying you have to discipline yourself so that you can listen, so that you can hear. Where do you think, innovation comes from? It comes from the Spirit of God whispering in somebody's ear saying, do this. And it might feel like, oh, I got an idea. But it really is the universe evolving itself, and the way it evolves itself is through us, right? So new ideas, new innovations, and whether we like it or not, we're subject to it. Whether we like, because you're here. Here's the thing. No one tells you when you first get here that this is school. This is an earth school. You are not here to just, fucking work for an attorney or, eat at the grocery store or go to that's not what you're here for. You're here to allow the energy of spirit to move through you. And in order to do that, you have to clear the way. You have to make a passage. You have to be open and receptive. So the Mercury and Gemini class is designed to help you learn to listen. It is a real fucking thing, you guys. I need y'all to understand. Because if you're not listening, if you don't even know how to listen or what to trust or how to hear, if you don't know how to do that, then you won't be where you're supposed to be. You won't hear what you're supposed to hear. You won't be able to take action on what is for you to take action on. It is a real thing. And many of us are here. Like, what is so important to know for those of us in black bodies, right? Or black and brown bodies, whatever you call it. We are the builders of this reality. We built this reality. The people who came here, or the black people who were captured, whether they were here or came here, we built this reality with our hands, with our bodies. Our babies, women for 200 years gave birth to one child after the next that then was born and then put in the field. And in the field, they built this reality. Do you understand that the entire food industry in America was built off of the free labor of slaves with rice and cotton and tobacco? The whole world economy came from our labor. Do you understand how valuable we are, right? Do you understand how receptive we are? So because we have that DNA, we need to really learn to listen, because we will build the new reality. We will build it. And we won't build it out of oppression or slavery. We will build it because we are deeply connected to the voice and the divinity of God. Why? Because of the melanin. The melanin. The melanin, it's not just in your skin, it's in your brain, it's in your ears, it's in your eyes. And it is a conduit that allows you to communicate with the atmosphere easily, that allows you to be intuitive and psychic and discerning and all of those things. That is what that gift is, right? And so you have to cultivate it. So the Mercury Retrograde class starts on May 10th. And it won't be open for more than a couple of days. It won't be, because it's a short class. It's a class that'll last about 3 weeks. It's not a long class at all, like the Pluto retrograde class, which goes until October 8th. Very important class on self-love and really learning and practicing real self-love. Not just getting your nails done and massages and all that kind of stuff. That stuff is great. You want to say hello to the bumpers? You want to say hello to the bumpers? Oh, look at the bumper. Ain't she so cute? Hello. Say hello. She want to get down. Oh, you want to get down. Oh, you want to get down. So, okay, stop it. If you don't want to sit here, then leave me alone. Okay. So, we get an opportunity to reprogram ourselves. It is really a profound reprogramming. And the only thing I can say is that the work that I have done to reprogram my mind has been the most profound work that I have ever done. Because my mind, I used to give my mind permission to just run crazy with, they did this and they did this and how come, like just that internal monkey mind. And monkey mind is normal, right? But if you don't learn how to not listen to it, then you won't be able to discern what's the monkey mind and the ego from what is the spirit of God, the universe, source energy through you. You have to be able to delineate the two. Otherwise, you just move yourself back into old patterns again and again and again. So this Mercury retrograde class is designed to really support you in learning to listen, learning to hear when your ancestors are talking, learning to listen to your body, learning to trust your sensations, learning to ask the right questions. So many of us don't know what questions to ask, okay? So we keep in the same loop. You've got to learn what questions to ask. Are you asking the right questions? If you're not, you're going to be lost in the old way of being. Because this thing is about to start shifting rapidly. This eclipse window that we're in, Mercury retrograde, Pluto retrograde, we're about to move all the way into retrograde season for the rest of the year. And the energy, like we're going to watch the collapse of this reality. And I promise you, in 5 years, we will not know the world. It will be a different world. It's remarkable to consider, because when I was a child, I knew like that was what I was here for, but I never knew how it really happened. Like I never believed it. I always was just like, there's no way. Like this system is pretty locked in, and to see our system coming undone, you know, like we just had the experience of COVID, and that rearranged our lives. And that is a very different thing, you know, so we are undergoing more and more shifts and transformations. Okay, so you guys can register for the Mercury retrograde class in my link tree, in my profile link tree. It's $111. Or you can register for the Pluto retrograde class. It is also $111. All of my classes are $111. And so unless you do a bundle where you do like the retrogrades and the moon classes, and then it's $220 a month. And you can cancel anytime, but the Mercury retrograde class is a one class. Mercury retrograde, it's not a subscription. So you can participate in those classes in the way that your soul feels you need to. And if you need to learn how to listen, if you need to learn how to discern what's the voice of your spirit and what's the voice of your ego, if you need to learn how to know when you should move forward and when you should sit still, if you need to really learn how to listen, this class is for you. And listening is the key to this universe. It is the key. I'm telling y'all, it is. I've been doing this work a long time. It is the key. Okay, so Saturn at the 24th degree of Aquarius. Saturn is about discipline and restrictions. Currently, right now, I have Saturn in opposition to my Mars in Leo. And when I tell you that I feel like I am in prison, I do. Like, I told you guys I thought I was going to move. Like, I was planning on moving. And I knew I had the apartment. And then they were like, They discovered that, I mean, they got clear, like they own the building, they can do whatever they want. But the rents here are really skyrocketing in Los Angeles. And so they just were like, we can rent it for more. And we don't think that you, based upon the low level that you pay now, we don't think that you can pay that much. So we're not going to rent to you. And that is a Saturn experience. Like I feel one way, and then Saturn comes in and says, nope, close it up, right? And in the past, because of the way this reality works, I would have been angry at them or mad at them or, been in a whole story. But because I read the astrology, I'm like, that's what's going on. I can't move yet. I can't go anywhere. So I'm no longer wasting my mental energy with the story and oh my god and I'm not saying that I didn't feel. I felt all of that. I still feel stuck. I feel trapped. I've lived in this apartment. I love my apartment. I love you, apartment. I love you. I have lived here for 12 years and I have birthed myself here, and I am excited for the opportunity to move into a new space when the timing is right. And with that, I know that I need the timing to be right. So that's a Saturn thing, right? Saturn creates restrictions and blocks, and it keeps you from being able to move. And as I have been, recognizing the restrictions, because it's an Aquarius, Saturn is an Aquarius, and the Aquarius is the mind of God. Aquarius is, like I said, the possibilities, the new ideas, all of that sort of stuff. The weird, the unusual, right? Because we don't know it yet. And the ruler of Aquarius is the ruler of Aquarius, Uranus, is in Taurus, which is the earth realm, our senses, our body, the earth. So what I'm doing is I'm just asking spirit to show me what it is that I need to focus on now at this point. And spirit is telling me, focus on your work. Focus on what you are offering. Focus on being of service to humanity right now. And it will shift but right now this is what you need to focus on. So with Saturn in Aquarius, how are you serving humanity? How are you serving humanity? How are you doing it? You know what I mean? And that's unique for every person. We're all serving humanity in some way, unintentionally or directly, because your presence is viable. Whether you are somebody that people really love, you know what I mean? It's sometimes people really are excited about you, or whether you're someone that people are not excited about. Your energy is serving humanity no matter what it looks like. We are often attached to things being in pretty packages, but pretty packages don't often get the results or the reaction or the shift that is needed. We often respond more to the uncomfortable things, which is why we got to witness the brother who just made his transition, Kevin. I want to say Kevin Hart, and that's not who it is, right? But whatever his name is, and I can't look it up right now. Whatever his last name is, it's not coming to me. It'll come to me. But he was extraordinarily triggering, and it's so fascinating to watch how upset Samuels. Thank you. It's so fascinating to watch how angry women are, right? And even men are not responding the same way, but some, it's interesting. But the truth is to understand that everyone is serving humanity. Everyone is. This brother, I didn't like it. When I listened to him, I would, oh my gosh. But I would listen, and then I would ask myself, what is it that is so painful for me to listen to? And I would come up with a couple things. First of all, the women going to him to look for permission. Oh, it just broke my heart that women were looking to him to affirm them. And so what that showed me was that as women, we don't have good role models. We don't have the people in our lives who are showing us what's the real meaning of love, and what does it look like to actually be deeply loved and cared for. And this starts early in your life. This is not something that starts when you're 10 or 12 or 15. This starts at the onset of your life, and we come here to learn these lessons. If you, like when I came here and I realized that I was born in a family that was about to drag me into like, what? Right? Well, you know, I've shared my story. I had to learn those lessons. I had to learn the lessons of scarcity. I had to learn the lessons of self lack and self hatred. I had to eat that food. I had to eat it. I had to eat it and swallow it and digest it until I realized, oh, this is poison. This is harming me. I am doing this. This is in my lineage. This is in my heritage. This is not this man's fault. I am creating a relationship based upon the relationships that I have seen my mother and grandmother and great grandmother be subjected to and choose and all of that. It's not the fault of the men. That's the thing that we don't get as women. You got to sit down and ask yourself, really, as women, every person on this planet, every single one, comes from a woman. Not one comes from a man. Not one falls out of a tree. Not one, evolves from being an ape to a human being or a bird. It's every human being comes from a woman. So every person is our creation. We create the physical world reality. And if we don't understand that we create the physical world reality, then we are at odds with our creations. We are at odds with the nature of what it means to be a woman. If you are not totally, fully understanding the power of womanhood, then you will be at odds with it, and then you cannot operate in the full power of it. You can't if you're not clear about how it works. You can't. So, with that, you got to take responsibility for everything in your life, because the woman gives birth to the physical realm, and out of her subconscious, out of her memory, she gives birth to her current experiences. Because woman holds the memory. The water holds the memory. And many of us are fussing and screaming and da-da-da because we don't know how this shit works. And we are at odds with our own creations. We're at odds with ourselves. And as long as you're at odds with yourself, as long as you are divided against yourself, you cannot thrive. You cannot. You cannot. So you have to make peace with the shadow. You have to make peace with the things that are hard. You have to make peace with the things that seem like they're out of your power and out of your reach. But they are not. They are your creations. They are your creations. Stop it, little girl. Stop it. I'm not playing. I mean it. Stop it, little one. Cutie. So, in doing so, with Saturn, it's your karma. Saturn is the father, your relationship with the masculine in Aquarius. And it's asking you to renew, bring these experiences in your earth experience, bring them through a new mindset. Clean them like if you were going to drive your car through a car wash. You got to drive your mind through the wash and let it get washed off, and right, and you have to take into account your ancestry and your mother and what she did and your grandmother and what she did. This stuff is, all of it is doable. I want to say that, right? When we are intentional and we have the desire to transform, it's all doable. Because the universe will support you. You are not alone. You can do it. The universe, you came here to do this. This is what you're here for. You're here to transmute these energies and make them into something else. This is your purpose. That's it. That's it. All this other stuff, I want love. I want love. Every woman, I'm looking for, when is love gonna come? You are it. What do you mean, when is love gonna come? You're it. If you're looking for it out there, woo, you lost, because it's not coming from outside of you. It only comes from within you, and then you magnetize it to you. So we've got to really begin to understand who we are. The moon today is in Leo, and so the moon in Leo is, your earliest experience of love and the ego and the things that you play and open-heartedness and all of that sort of stuff. So today is a really great day to do something fun, right? But when you do it, when you do the fun thing, Like I'm gonna go see Doctor Strange today. I love those kind of movies, right? I do. So, but when you do it with the intention of reprogramming yourself, of really accessing something new. Something, like a thought you've never had. Like today, I asked myself something new because Aquarius is about knowing. It is about the knowing because God is the knower. The divine is the knower, right? And so I just realized that I actually didn't really understand what knowing is. Like I was like, what is knowing? Like I know my name, but somebody gave me that. I know that the sun is going to come every day because it's always happened. That's why I know it, because it's always happened. I know that I'm going to breathe in and I'm going to breathe out. And then I just heard myself, but what is knowing? Like, where does that come from? What is that? And that's me asking a new question to the universe so that I can have a new experience of myself in the universe. That's it. It's as simple as that, right? You got to know what questions to ask. You have to. That's why you got to register for the class. Come register for the class. Mercury Retrograde in Gemini. We get started on the 10th, and I'm just grateful. I'm grateful. My prayer is that as we all move through, I'm writing a movie right now called Knowing. Oh, that's amazing. I love that. Yes, it is. That knowing is a big deal. Knowing is the key to all of this. It really is. If we don't have knowing, yeah, and a lot of us have doubting more than we have knowing. A lot of us have doubting more than we have knowing. Um, at any rate, so today is Saturday. The moon is in Leo. Do something fun, playful, and do it in honor of transforming your reality. Like, do it with the intention of creating a ritual that will transform your reality. Allow yourself to be new, to, to feel something new, to try something new, and to have fun in a new way. And it can be really, it can be personal. It doesn't have to be something that's a big deal, but you have to give yourself permission to do it. All right, I'm gonna go. My aunt tends to like, my cats can be mean to one another. It's so funny. They're really cute though. All right, peace and blessings, everyone. I love you guys very much. Have a really beautiful day. Bye bye.